The city of Osseo is mourning the loss of one of its longtime public servants. Former Osseo City Council member Harold Johnson died this week.
He would do the Lions Roar. He was active in his church. He was active in the business community. And his heart was just Osseo, the schools, everything.
Johnson was elected 3 times to serve on the Osseo City Council. He spent nearly 50 years as a certified public accountant serving the Osseo area. He was also a member of the Osseo Lions Club. Johnson resigned from his council seat this May after a disagreement about the city's 150th anniversary celebration. But after he resigned, he remained a passionate supporter of the project.
His choice was he was going to see that Osseo had a nice new book, which we're working on, and that the residents and the people who are connected with Osseo's history are involved. And it's just the entire community that he was so passionate about.
A visitation will take place Thursday from 4 to 8 p.m. at Evans Nordby Funeral Home in Osseo. His funeral service is Friday at 11 a.m. at Advent Lutheran Church in Maple Grove. Overnight storms Wednesday brought some much-needed rain to the northwest suburbs, along with some heavy winds that caused damage. A Plymouth resident sent us these images of a large tree branch that broke off in her yard after succumbing to heavy wind. It was all part of a storm that hit the metro around 1 a.m. on Wednesday. New Hope weather watcher Steve Reckers measured the early morning rainfall at 1.36 inches, which is the most rain we've had in weeks. While the moisture was beneficial, Reckers says we're still around 8.5 inches below where we'd normally be at this time of year.
Certainly not going to alleviate the drought conditions, and if we go into another dry period here for a week or 10 days without getting any more significant rain, we're going to be right back in the hole again, but this helps.
Reckers says the last 2 summers have been very dry. However, the month of August has had above average rainfall in each of the last 2 years. Mystery revealed. Maple Grove's largest employer, Boston Scientific, confirms to CCX News that it's the company planning a $170 million expansion in the city. City officials had called the expansion plans by the codename Project Black Bear. Boston Scientific is planning to build a new 400,000 square foot campus in the gravel mining area just down the road from Lowe's. The project is expected to bring nearly 200 new jobs to the area. City documents say the office will consist of research and development labs. Last month, the city approved a more than $6 million tax increment financing agreement to help make it happen. Plymouth, meanwhile, is planning for a major rebuild of County Road 73 at Highway 55. The U.S. Department of Transportation awarded the city $15 million for the project. The Plymouth City Council approved the grant agreement this week. The project includes partial reconstruction of Highway 55 and County Road 73, bus platforms at the Station 73 Park and Ride, 2 new roundabouts, a pedestrian underpass, and new regional trails. Public Works Director Michael Thompson called the project a, quote, legacy change for the area.
Short-term pain for long-term gain. There will be, when all is said and done, a lot of improvements, not only for traffic and vehicles, but pedestrian safety.
Total costs for the project are estimated at $27 million. Construction is expected to start in spring 2025 and run through 2026. The North Metro is on the world stage as professional golfers return to TPC Twin Cities for the PGA Tour's 3M Open. As Rusty Ray reports, the week's festivities also include giving back to one organization that is helping a Hennepin County teenager go to college.
Solani Somia doesn't make careless moves.
Sort of a slow roll there.
The rising college freshman has played golf since she was in 6th grade and played at Minnetonka High School.
Something that's really special about golf to me is that I can get more detail-oriented and look at those little specifics and just focus on what I'm doing in that moment.
This fall is a big moment for Somia, who is enrolled at Brown to study pre-med. She's getting help thanks to a $5,000 scholarship from First Tee, The nonprofit helps introduce kids to golf.
College is such an expensive process, and it's really incredible to have First Tee not only there to support me financially, but also with the support that they offer with mentorship.
First Tee couldn't do what it does for 6,000 Minnesota kids each year without support from the 3M Open Fund, the charitable arm of this week's PGA Tour event in Blaine.
Multiple kids from Minnesota are getting into leadership training and entrepreneurship training and all sorts of things, not necessarily related to golf.
The tournament is the biggest fundraiser for the fund, thanks to the tens of thousands of golf fans of all ages that come to the week-long festivities. Triggs says First Tee kids like Sumia already stand out among their peers.
It never has any break like I think it will.
They give back to the community. They are very bright students, and oh, by the way, they're good golfers. So I think that emphasis on life skills and integrity and goal setting, that's where our focus is.
So Sumia can focus on what's next for her, which in her case is not a professional golf career.
I think something that's so important is paying it forward, the mentorship and support that First Tee has given me, and imparting any knowledge that I get or any advice that I find onto people who are younger than me who might want to follow a similar path that I did.
A path with goals in sight and an attention to detail. Rusty Ray, CCX News.
The 3M Open at TPC Twin Cities starts Thursday and ends on Sunday afternoon. It's indeed the dog days of summer at a Plymouth senior living facility, which got a lift from a retired celebrity beer vendor.
And here comes Itzy, and he's a Chihuahua, loves clothes and dressing up, dances and loves to go shopping. There's no biz like showbiz.
Wally the Beer Man joined in on the fun at the Waters of Plymouth, which hosted a doggy fashion show for the residents. The dogs came from Secondhand Hounds, a Minnetonka-based animal rescue service. Fashion outfits included a light-up rainbow ensemble, tutus, and one so fancy it's described as a tick magnet. Residents could also take a picture with their favorite pooch in a photo booth.
The Wayzata American Legion baseball team went undefeated in the Sub-State 11 tournament last week and took home their first Sub-State title since 2018. CCX Sports reporter Chaz Moots caught up with the Wizards Tuesday night before they headed down to the Legion State tournament.
Practice makes perfect, but for the Wayzata Legion baseball team, practice has been hard to come by.
I think we just figured it out. I think this is 4. This is practice number 4, and one of them was just show up and take on-field BP during districts when we had that Thursday off. So yeah, we haven't really had practices. The varsity team was done on a Friday, and we had a doubleheader Sunday.
A big reason why the Wizards haven't been able to practice much is because they've been on the road at tournaments in Delano, Moorhead, and even Omaha, Nebraska at the Creighton Prep invite-only tournament in late June.
After our last game, we lost like 9-4. That game was kind of like a pinnacle of everything, just nothing went right our way. The kids were kind of upset about the performance that we had, and I just had to reiterate that you played 6 games now against 6 very, very high quality teams, and everybody else in our district isn't really playing anybody right now.
The tough schedule paid off for Wayzata as the Wizards rolled through the Sub-State 11 tournament with a 4-0 record, outscoring their opponents by a combined score of 25-9.
Our hitting was a lot better than a lot of other games, but I want to say that we executed our hitting like that was the thing that got us to the finish line.
At the state tournament in Rochester tomorrow, temperatures are expected to hit 95 degrees with the heat index hovering around triple digits. Wayzata has a couple ideas to beat the heat, which includes staying in the nice cool dugouts as long as possible, among other things.
A lot of water, a lot of drinks and everything, and yeah, it's just kind of common sense. Just stay out of the sun and drink a lot, and we should be fine.
We can stay in our dugout as long as possible and make those guys field, having those long innings, like that's going to take teams out of it, especially I think in that 1 o'clock game that we have.
No matter how hot it is, it won't melt the excitement that Wayzata has to be playing at the Legion State Tournament for the first time in 5 years.
I'm electric right now. I'm super excited. This is what I've been waiting for since I first started Legion.
In Plymouth, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
The Wizards will open Legion play at the state tournament on Thursday morning, taking on Sartell in Rochester at 10:30. Hockey season never really ends here in the state of hockey. The Minnesota Wild hosted an event in the area Tuesday that featured a local Wild player. In the July heat in Rogers, hockey players and fans alike turned out Tuesday It's all part of the Minnesota Wild Summer Series, one of several community events throughout the state that the team is putting on this summer. The big draw this night, Maple Grove native Brock Faber. The U of M collegiate All-American defenseman joined the Minnesota Wild for the playoffs this spring, and now will be entering his rookie season.
I was here one day too, obviously wanting to meet a Wild player, wanting to meet Gopher players even. It's so special, and I'm glad to, see the smiles on the kids' face. It means a lot to me, and it's exciting.
He's a good hockey player, and it's fun to have him in places like this, especially in your hometown. I watched him a little bit as a Gopher, and he was pretty good.
There were plenty of things for kids to do here, including a small street hockey arena in the parking lot and other skill stations, plus an appearance from Wild mascot Nordy. All in all, this event was a big deal for those associated with Rogers hockey.
You can just tell there's kids from mites all the way up to the high school guys, and seeing them come together and kind of make more of a overall community sense is huge for this program, and it's pretty lucky that the Wild picked Rogers as a place to do this.
It's an honor. It's just an amazing opportunity that we can hold this here, and it's really cool seeing all these kids here, because I was a youth kid at one point looking up to all these high school guys too, so it's just a really cool opportunity.
Just about 10 minutes from home, so it's really cool. It's really cool. Obviously, I played in this rink many times growing up, practice, so.
The Wild Street Hockey Series continues for a couple of more weeks, including a Thursday night appearance at the National Sports Center in Blaine. In Rogers, John Jacobson, CCX Sports.